Hello everybody and welcome to Los Angeles, California. Now for the past week here we've had 30 of the most powerful around, hauling and lifting and generally enduring the Commerce World's Strongest Man. But it turns out that that was just the easy part, because next up it's the final. Who's in it? Well, for a start, there's three Englishmen, the most we've ever had in the final. Eddie Hall, Lawrence Shahlaei and 9-time finalist Terry Holland. Fellas? But there's also three equally massive contenders from elsewhere. There's the man from the frozen north, Hafthor Bjornsson, 6'9" of Icelandic power. There's three-time world champion Zydrunas Savickas, the one they called the strongest who ever lived. They may have a point. And of course the reigning world's strongest man, Big Brian Shaw. Doesn't look that big. Oh, I get it. With Brian then and 11 guys battling to take his title, this could be our best final ever. Since 1977, this contest has produced some eye-watering feats of strength as the world's most powerful men battle to lift this sport's ultimate prize. Now, nearly 4 decades after it all began, we return to the birthplace of this competition to see which of this year's contestants can make their mark on history. Well, the first test of strength comes from Venice Beach. It's the loading race. Soaking up the sun, Colin Bryce, and first, Martin Haven.
Thank you, James. Well, Venice Beach, the legendary home of LA muscle men. You're going to need plenty of muscle to shift these three tyres. 100 kilos, 15 3/4 stone, and the going, best described as soft, it is on sand. That's a brand new event, this discipline, and so everybody trying to work out how best to carry the tyres. In the orange, Eddie Hall going down. Jerry Pritchett setting the fastest time in that heat with 6 of our 12 contenders already gone. Dave Ostland of the USA, 49.66 is the fastest so far.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
into the second half of the group, Lawrence Shahlaei, one of the 3 British athletes in this field. 31-year-old, former finalist. Terry Holland, 34 years old. These two British giants head-to-head in this one might spur each other on. And Mike Berg had a great run through his qualifying heats. He could be a real contender here as well.
Take your position.
Colin Bryce, when you get thrown a new discipline, none of the guys will have trained with this. You watch what the first crash test dummies do and try and pick the best of the techniques.
Well, Mike Berg just ripped that off the ground very fast. And oh, Shahlaei's gone off the end.
Well, he was last in the first race in his heat, but that was only 6 competitors. If he's last out of 12, that is a mountain to climb. 39-year-old Mike Berg setting the pace here. Just didn't quite get it on cleanly the first time, and those few fractions may cost him in the long run.
They may not, actually, because what he's done is he's kept it right up on top of the other tyre, left himself some room here. That's sensible.
These platform races, you do have to be a little OCD. 41.85, that's a very fast run for Mike Berg. Looked like it all the way. Terry Holland's just about getting the tyre on, making a real meal of that. That was another 10 seconds.
Hands off, Lawrence. Okay.
Lawrence Shahlaei just inside the minute mark, but our leader, Mike Berg, 41.85 seconds. Well, that is the leading time so far. Might be tough to beat. Terry Holland looking at 4th place at the moment. Don't forget, still 3 men to go. But it is the big 3 in the competition. Lawrence Shahlaei might be in real trouble here.
Mike Berg beat Terry Holland in this kind of event, in the heats, the loading. He's so fast, and to beat Terry Holland, you must be good. So this might stand up to the big 3, of course, who are the podium from last year.
Hafthor Bjornsson, 2 meters 5, 6'9" of him, weighs in at just 30 stone. Not just their reputations that are large. He was 3rd last year. Zydrunas Savickas, Big Z, he was in 2nd spot. Bit of a lightweight, only 26 stone 10 and 6'3". And Brian Shaw, the reigning champion, 6'8", 31 stone and change. And he will be working this crowd, if he can, onto his side.
Position.
Now, Colin, not only do they have to contend with these tyres, but the running on sand element here is also going to really sap the strength from the legs.
Absolutely, but it probably helps to have massive boat feet like Sean Bjornsson, size 17, 18, on that soft sand. And look at this, the former basketball star from Iceland chewing up the ground.
Well, USA's Mike Burke leading at the moment, but USA's Brian Shaw, the reigning champion in black there, closest to the camera, Colin, really struggling here. He's hanging out the back of the field.
Absolutely, everyone had him as favourite, and Bjornsson, he's taken the win, and Z's done him too.
Zavickas goes second, and Shaw doesn't even get third. That is not going to be as quick as Mike Burke's 41.85. That's a shock for the US crowd and for the reigning champion.
From Iceland, Hafthor Bjornsson.
Wow. So Thor takes the fastest time. Big Z, second quickest. The old man, life in him yet. And Brian Shaw, only fourth behind compatriot Mike Burke.
That is a huge blow to the reigning champion. Every point is so key here. Bjornsson, he didn't even bother practicing earlier, didn't think about it, just grabbed it and went. He's such an animal.
One event down, Terry Hollands is England's best placed contender in 7th, but there's time yet for Charlet and Hall to get their challenges going. At the top, it's Bjornsson who reigns in the sunshine, with Savickas close behind. The spirit of the Vikings alive and well then, as Thor attempts to emulate legends of the sport, jump past Sigmundsson and Magnus for Magnussen. Can the latest Icelandic giant continue his hot streak? We'll find out as the final continues. Welcome back to the final of the Commerce World's Strongest Man. Well, up next is the overhead medley. The situation so far is that Hafthor Bjornsson has the early lead. Things not going too well for our English competitors. Terry Hollands a respectable 7th, but Lawrence Charlet and Eddie Hall propping up the group. And up next, it is an event which is maybe going to test them, because Terry Hollands, he's sometimes a bit suspect overhead. Eddie Hall, though, has got some of the strongest shoulders in the business.
He really does. Just take a look at him. He's massive across the chest and shoulders, and so strong. I think he'll do very well here.
All right, now what are the rules here? We've got 105 kilos of dumbbell and 163 of axle.
Take the dumbbell from the floor to the shoulder, press it overhead to arm's length one time, set it down, do it again, move over to the axle, and do the same with it. To the shoulders, arm's length one time, and one more time.
All right, and it's as simple as it sounds, is it?
Yeah, for these guys, it surely is. For us, maybe not.
All right, nice one. Thanks, Bill. Time to watch those overheads.
Now, not for us maybe, Bill, but for him probably is. Assuming the leaders all get the 4 reps in, it will be decided on fastest time. Some of the others, though, getting all 4 reps is going to be the challenge. So maximum time mark is a minute. Martin Wildauer, currently tied for 6th, struggled, didn't get any reps in at all. Neither did the USA's dark horse, Jerry Pritchett. Dave Ostland, no clean reps either, didn't get that elbow locked out. Overhead is always an issue. 1 rep for Terry Hollands, 52 seconds. It's going to be a real test of strength. Warwick Brandt of Australia, one of the wild cards through to the final. He got 1 rep as well. 3 reps for Canada's strongest man. Jean-Francois Caron puts him into the lead at the moment.
Please welcome from England, Eddie Hall.
Britain's strongest man lying at the foot of the points table after one event. I would be shocked if he is still down there after the entire contest. And Lawrence Charlet is too much of a competitor to let that lie at 11th place as well. Colin Bryce, for both these men, this is a massive moment. They must perform.
Yeah, they both had a shocking first event. They need to do well there. Charlet gets it up, but he doesn't wait for the referee's down signal. So he wasn't given the first rep. Hall's ahead here. Remember, 2 with each implement.
Lawrence Charlet with 1 rep. Eddie Hall with 1 as well, taking his time a little more. In fact, Lawrence Charlet gets that one given, and they are neck and neck. Still more than 30 seconds to go. Don't forget, we have got nobody with 4 reps yet.
Yeah, and I would say this is the harder of the two implements. 163 kilos, a slippy bar, and it's still neck and neck.
And look at the size of that bar as well. You just can barely get your hand around it. That's why it's called an axle. Looks like it's off a cart or a railway wagon. Oh, and Hall struggles. He's not going to get a fourth. Charlet does. Was that a clean lift? He was given that. So the first man to get four, but Eddie Hall, that is a surprise.
He looks a little shocked himself.
England, Lawrence Charlet.
You just wonder whether the heat has affected him. 57 seconds then for the four, or the five for Charlet.
And Eddie Hall, 3 in 40 seconds. That's going to decide the minor placings. Lawrence Charlet showing exactly what you've got to do. The crucial element here is getting the lifting elbow locked and waiting for the down signal. Otherwise, it's not a complete press. Mike Burke from the USA, third place in the tyre race. Brian Shaw trails his compatriot. Now, can the beast, the reigning champion, show Burke where to get off here?
Ready, lift! Not just compatriots, they live in the same town, they train in the same gym. They're just about best friends, though right now they're closest of enemies. Almost the same pace here.
So Shaw with 2 done in 15 seconds. And right behind him is Burke. These two Americans are going to show the rest of the world where to get off in this one. Spurring each other on, they'll be under 30 seconds. Both of them now. 30.5 for Burke.
Well, of all men, Burke wouldn't mind being beaten by Brian Shaw. Shaw's helped him into the sport. He trains at his gym. He might be the older, but he looks up to this man. 4 reps in 29 seconds.
That is insane. That is Shaw really showing that he's not to be counted out. And I tell you what, Burke,
Michael, Isabella, I love you guys.
he might be in his shadow a little. I think you underestimate him at your peril.
Now the two Americans in 3rd and 4th after the first event. This could bring them up to 1st and 2nd. We'll have to wait and see.
Ladies and gentlemen,
two giants of the sport, two literal giants to come. Zydrunas Savickas, 3-time World's Strongest Man champion, beaten into 2nd place last year. Hafthor Bjornsson, the leader, does not want to end up on the bottom step of the podium for a 2nd consecutive World's Strongest Man.
Ready, lift!
But boy, have they got a tough ask here. Brian Shaw and in his shadow Mike Burke blazed through this.
How's Bjornsson so quick? He's the tallest man, the longest arms, but he's done before Z there. Who can do this axle quicker?
Savickas, look at that, just blasted away. But he knows the pressure is on. 29 seconds, he's taken the lead. What about the Icelander? 28, they are 1st and 2nd. They beat the Americans into 3rd and 4th in this event as well.
I just can't believe how strong Savickas is off his chest.
48.46 from Iceland.
And that axle, 25.5 stone. He throws it up there like it weighs nothing. The overhead medley winner, Zydrunas Savickas. Astonishing.
I mean, just the way he treats that weight. It's as if it was made of polystyrene. 163 kilos, unbelievable.
Zydrunas, all 4 lifts in 26.42 seconds. You made that look easy. What was your plan going into this event?
My plan was don't make mistake in dumbbells because it's harder for me, and then very fast lift axle. So it was everything by plan.
You're now tied 1st with Thor. A few events ahead. How are you feeling for the rest of the final?
Everything going well. I think this year very hard for 1st place.
Well, mixed fortunes for the English athletes in that event. Terry Holland's way down in 9th. Hall, surprisingly, only managing 3 reps, but Lawrence Charlet, at least, will be pleased with his performance. At the top of the pile, Zydrunas Savickas, all 4 lifts in just 26.42 seconds. And Big Z now moves into a share of the lead.